There's a strong fear right now. More horrific bloodshed is coming in Syria. Rebels are concentrated in one area, Idlib province. A lot of people think the forces of Bashar al-Assad and his Iranian and Russian allies are likely to try to take the province. A summit meeting in Tehran today might be the last chance to avoid a new humanitarian disaster. CBC's Thomas Douglas following these developments from our London bureau. What's going on at this summit today, Thomas?
Well, according to a joint statement just released, Reshmi, the presidents of Iran, Russia, and Turkey have agreed that the only way to end the civil war in Syria is by a negotiated political process, they say, rather than military means. No indication there that they've emerged with any clear plan for Idlib. All they're saying is they've agreed to look for ways to resolve the situation there. It doesn't sound like President Putin has offered any assurances that Russia's Air Force won't be bombing Idlib. Now, at the summit today, you would have had Putin and Iran's President Rouhani on one side supporting the Assad regime, and on the other side, President Erdogan of Turkey calling for a ceasefire. He doesn't want to see any more Syrian refugees fleeing to the Turkish border, and yet that's very well what could happen if Assad's forces do move in, aided by Russian firepower, trying to take back control of Idlib, the last rebel stronghold in the country, and hence the place many observers see as the site of the last final battle of this civil war, Reshmi.
And so 3 million or so people live in Idlib. How are they coping right now?
Well, they're bracing not only for attacks on the ground and from above, but also the threat of chemical weapons, even preparing makeshift gas masks. They've seen chemical weapons used time and time again in this civil war, and human rights groups are warning of a humanitarian disaster, really. Rebels and civilians who are unhappy with Assad would have nowhere else to go. There's no other rebel-held area left, and Turkey has closed its border. Have a listen to these Idlib residents. Their voices you'll hear are dubbed over in English, but you'll still get a sense of their fears.
Turkey has closed its border, and people trying to cross are getting hit by snipers.
I'm worried about my children, and there is no place to go. It's very difficult to move and run with children when the bombing is happening.
People are afraid of chemical weapons like chlorine or sarin, but in God's will, we are prepared for them.
Now, without a resolution for Idlib agreed to at the Tehran summit today, the leaders of Iran, Russia, and Turkey have agreed to meet again next time in Russia. That is cold comfort, though, for the people waiting, fearing the worst in Idlib, all 3 million of them, Reshmi.
Thank you, Thomas. The Iranian president told the summit he wants to see the United States out of Syria. It has about 2,000 military personnel there, but the U.S. Special Representative for Syria says the troops will be staying put until ISIS has been defeated.